covered, and having those conversations. You're the ambassador to bring people into the programs. You're also, in this neoliberal time, I mentioned, our business fund that we started with several years ago is kind of fucked. Because we talked about having gaming money, gaming grants from the BC government. The BC government under Gordon Campbell and now under Christy Clark has cut off all cultural organizations from funding for gaming grants. So while they suck people with their gaming addiction, they also are cutting off huge chunks of the social services and cultural sector from access to that money. So we don't have that money in our account. So that means it's critical that the cafe make money. So instead of the profits going to me, the executive director, I work for a nonprofit organization that's governed by a board of directors. And what we do with that money is we don't make profits. We actually spend it on running this media center. So where JJ Bean makes money and the owner profits it and pays for his new swimming pool in West Van, quite literally, and he pays women of color in the kitchen minimum wage, and he pays the hipster artists $1 or $2 more to get the front cash. We are a different model. We're all frontline. We're all ambassadors. We're all part of the economic engine of W2. And so, yes, you're paid a wage, but we need you to have other reasons for being here. Because this is going to be like, we don't want people to like be bored after a month. Oh, I got to go to work. It's like, oh, at work we're doing this thing, and I've scheduled my schedule so that I can only work 4 hours, so I can do this workshop in the afternoon. Or I've got my video project, or I've got my, we're gonna propose a morning radio show. So we'll do a live radio show in the cafe, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 till 8. So whoever's on shift then is actually going to be witnessing this live radio show happening, kind of like the CBC early edition. So those are things that we need you to champion, and we want you to come up with those ideas. I can tell you that Dakota's here, somewhere she was here, Eugene is there. Eugene, do you want to just throw some ideas about what you've been working with us for a month? What kind of off-the-wall things have come up for you that you're able to add, or in your job here you're able to kind of not normal things that you never thought you'd learn, or
yeah, I don't know. Working here, I don't even know where to begin. Like, I just learn so much every day. I leave the office and my head is spinning. Just like, I don't know what else can I don't even know where to begin to explain how much I've learned just through being around the people I work with. In regards to like emailing other people, like diplomacy, like that kind of stuff, like just communications, and like learning about how many different, like how easy it is, well, not very easy, but how simply some people can make it to, say, install like a huge video screen, an interactive video screen that will tell you the history of woodworks, like programming things. Like, I've just been exposed to so much. And I can say that through W2, I've kind of become switched on. Like, I consider myself now politically active. I'm a young political activist. Telling my friends to vote. I'm out at a party or an after party, and I'm the guy at the party being like, so what do you guys think about the vote? Is anybody gonna go vote? And my friends are like, what? But because of my just being around these people, like, yeah, it's just been switched on, and I think it's really important for me to now, like, turn around and engage other people that I know that had that same frustration, but no channel, and no, like, I didn't have anywhere to funnel that energy. I just was always fed up with the way government was, didn't understand why Native people had it so hard in this country, and now I know where and how to attack, So yeah.
So we want people to have a passion for being here. So it's not about the coffee. It's about what you want to do with W2 and how you can see W2 being more successful. And I saw a tweet yesterday. There was a tweet from Bobix about this thing, and someone kind of said, "Oh, why do you have to live in the downstream side?" Or Greg A did that. It's like, well, as again, this is the history of the Woodwards. This is our neighborhood, and economic development always seems to happen. Like, if you look at Waves staffers don't come from the downstream side. They come from other neighborhoods. They come in on the bus, they go to work, and then they leave. You got shops coming in that, especially in Chinatown, these new shops cater to middle class people in the middle class cafes, middle class bars. you'd drop 40 bucks if you were to go in them. You'd have to pay 40 bucks for a good time. So what we want to do is we believe in economic development that benefits the local people. Like, I wish every business in the downtown side was doing what we were doing, like hiring local people, because then we would have less homeless people.
They want anything to do with it, really. That's the essence of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much experience you have. They just look at your address.
Yeah.
Same as the top lines that you live down here. All of a sudden you turn, doesn't matter if you got a three-piece suit on. You turn from sir to asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and that's a fact.
So it's systemic discrimination. And one thing, I'll just wrap with this. I mentioned our work is around access to gear, access to training, support for production and support for distribution of cross-media or multi-platform stories. But our real vision, and W2 is quite unique in Canada around this, our mandate, the constitutional mandate of W2 is promoting social inclusion, cross-cultural dialogue, breaking the digital divide, and redress. So I talk about breaking the digital divide. It's about giving more people access to technology. Social inclusion is about creating social inclusive spaces and working against the systems and the oppressive environments that create and maintain poverty. So working at and envisioning a world, and envisioning physical spaces where people are included in decision making in their lives and in the public processes that impact their lives. And then the other one is cross-cultural dialogue. I grew up in Vancouver. I recognized when I was a teenager how First Nations communities, all the First Nations youth would drop out of my high school as I was growing up, right? So looking at how do we imagine a place like Vancouver, especially on its 125th anniversary, that is everyone feeling proud about Vancouver's 125 years, rather than just the whiteys feeling like, oh yeah, what a great 125 years we had. Whereas like, oh, there's Japanese internment camps, and Aboriginal people didn't get to vote until like 4 years ago, and there's the head tax from Chinese families, and families are separated. Even right now, Filipinos have nannies come in, not given citizenship, their kids are in the Philippines. So like all these problems, as we build Vancouver, there's all these problems. So W2 has a mandate that's called redress. So looking at how do we heal the wrongs of our past as a society, and how do we move forward by honoring those mistakes of the Canadian government, mostly it's Canadian government. So redress. If you look at our program, and I'll ask Eugene in a few minutes if you can grab those flyers for the red and black flyers from the year's programming. If you look at our cultural programming this year, it's like we're premiering a Japanese feature film on the internment camp just past Hope, and it's actually called Just Beyond Hope. And we're doing a whole series around Canada Day on Chinese head tax, and we're starting a new Aboriginal Film Festival in November. And in May, our opening show is all about Komagata Maru. 97 years ago, it was moored off the shore here, and the Sikhs weren't allowed to come into Canada, so they were sent all the way back to India. So we're doing a walk from here to the water, and we're doing a program with the Vancouver Museum on the history of Bhangra music, and we're doing a cooking show in the cafe around Indian food. It's called the Color of Food. And it's looking at like the 100-mile diet. It's like this hipster eat locally thing. But in fact, the disconnect is that while these middle-class people do the 100-mile diet, they actually don't recognize that it's migrant Mexicans and migrant South Asian farm workers in the Fraser Valley who actually pick the food. So kind of conveniently leave those 5,000 kilometers out of the equation. So the Color of Food is probably going to be the name of our TV show that we produce here at W2, and it's going to be a cooking show all about the politics of food. So we're going to kick that off in May with our South Asian program. And like I said, I could talk for a couple hours, so I will just stop there. And,
great.
That's,
that was a great
is that a good enough intro?
Yeah.
One question, where you find your coffee beans? Is it under the green umbrella?
So
that is
I could go into a long story, but this coffee shop was supposed to have opened in about 18 months ago,
yeah.
And it's been a long process to get this far. What happened in that period, about a year and a half ago, is we built a business plan. We got financing in place. with building opportunities with business, CCEC Credit Union, Van City Credit Union, Salt Spring Coffee Company, and Simon Fraser Student Society, and the 5 of us all came up with this kind of best strong business model to run the cafe. Salt Spring showed up. We bought all the assets of one of their cafes that was closing, and we own all those assets, and they're our partner. So Salt Spring's helping us with business advice, and we're selling their product, and we're also going to be selling their coffee under our label as well for people who want to take beans home.
So I'm just curious about the one I was just curious about is the one that Nabob actually brought to me was some advertisement if you were really paying attention anyways, and it's basically fair money for
ours is a little better
the farmers rather than the
ours is better.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, it's fair trade organic. The problem with that Nabob stuff is that, yeah, it's fair trade organic,
Yeah,
but
well,
they still hammer the fair trade organic farmers.
Yeah, and you notice there was a percentage point there that they
Yeah, the rest go